and commissioners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, Your Excellency, at this point, I would like to call upon Florence Kajuju, who is the Chairperson, Commissions and Administration of Justice, to come and lead us in the rest of the program. Welcome, ma'am.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, His Excellency Dr. William Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto, the Deputy President, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, the Speakers of the Houses present today, our Attorney General present, the Chairpersons of respective commissions, and our commissioners present, and the chief executive officers present today, good afternoon. This afternoon, Your Excellency, the Constitutional Commissions and independent offices that were established by the Constitution in the year 2010 have been discharging their specific individual mandates as stipulated in the Constitution. There are around 21 constitutional commissions and independent offices, and each of them is represented by its commissioners and chief executive officer and the chairpersons, Your Excellency. As we commonly call ourselves, Your Excellency, CCIOs, our common objective is to protect the sovereignty of the people of Kenya, secure observance of democratic values and principles, and all state organs, and promote constitutionalism. Your Excellency, in 2012, the chairpersons of constitutional commissions and holders of independent offices came together and formed the Chairs Forum that is collaborative and consultative, so that, Your Excellency, together we would sit down and be able to organize our thoughts and ensure that we execute our duties. Your Excellency, would like to appreciate you today, because among the first duties that you carried out in the office of the President of the Republic of Kenya was via Executive Order number 1 of 2022. In October, Your Excellency, you remembered that constitutional commissions and independent offices need space in your office, the presidency. And through that, Your Excellency, you are able to advise the commissions through the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya to be able to work in your government, to be able to have a liaison that then would help us, Your Excellency, in budget, implementation of our recommendations, among other things, Your Excellency. We appreciate you for that. I believe, Your Excellency, for you to have done that, it is because, Your Excellency, in your time as the Deputy President, you are able to engage with the commissions. Your Excellency, just to jog your memory, we invited you to Kericho County in 2019. And you came, Your Excellency, and pledged to support the CCIOs in the execution of their duty. I believe we are privileged as commissions to have that space within the presidency, that then we are able to bring our issues and ensure, Your Excellency, we perform our duties as we should. Thank you, Your Excellency, for doing that for us. Your Excellency, as I finish, I would like to say this. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision to reality. And Your Excellency, you're one of the people in this country that has been able to translate your vision, because I've worked with you, Your Excellency, for quite some time, and I know that vision that you have for this country is going to be. So, Your Excellency, with those few remarks, allow me to request our chair of chairs. Within the Chairs Forum, Your Excellency, we have two people who are the officials. The chairperson of the constitutional commissions and independent offices, and we also have the vice chairperson, who is yours truly. With that, Your Excellency, allow me to request our chairperson of chairs to come and speak and take us through the program. Thank you, Your Excellency. Welcome, Mr. Otachi.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander of the Defense Forces, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Moses Wetangula, the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amazon Kingi, the Honorable Attorney General, fellow chairpersons and holders of independent offices, commissioners, CEOs, a very good afternoon to you all. Your Excellency, with your kind permission, may I start within the limited time that we may have to do a quick introduction of the chairs of the constitutional commissions who are present here today, as well as the holders of independent offices. And in the interest of time, I request that the chairs, once I've called them, once they stand up, their teams, that is the CEOs, the commissioners, and the CEO will stand up along with them. Your Excellency, there is no particular order of preference. And the first on the list is the Teachers Service Commission, Dr. Jamlek Muturi John, and your team. He's a little short in stature, but I think he's visible. Your Excellency, next is the Kenya Law Reform Commission, the chairperson, Ms. Christine Agimba. Thank you. The Public Service, they stood up there, your team? Okay, thank you. The Public Service Commission, Ambassador Anthony Mushiri. Thank you. I hope that is long enough to take photos. The chairperson of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Mrs. Lynn Mengich. That is her team. The Commission on Revenue Allocation, Dr. Jane Kiringai. Thank you. The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, Reverend Dr. Samuel Kobia. Thank you. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the chairperson, Ms. Roslyn Odede. Thank you. The National Land Commission. Yours truly, Your Excellency, and there is my team. Thank you. Okay. Commission of Administration of Justice, CAJ, my Vice Chair, Honorable Florence Kajuju. She has a very lean team. I don't know how she administers justice. Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, Archbishop Emeritus Eliud Wabukala. Thank you. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, Anne Makori, Chairperson. Thank you. Now, the National Gender Equality Commission, NGEC, Chairperson Dr. Joyce Mwikali Mutinda. Thank you. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IBC, Chairperson Mr. Wafula Chebukati. So we have over time, the last 1 year, referred to him as the chair of the moment. Now, the National Police Service Commission, Eliud N. Kinuthia, Chairperson. The Judicial Service Commission, Your Excellency, the Honorable Chief Justice sent her apologies, but the Vice Chair, Honorable Macharia Njeru, is present with a team including a number of judges, including the Attorney General. Yeah. All right. Then there is a Parliamentary Service Commission, the chair, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly. Your Excellency, the Speaker seems to have been abandoned by his team. I understand the team is out of the country. Thank you very much. Now, the Office of the Auditor General, CPA Nancy Kadungu. So with 3 of our deputies, thank you very much. Then there is the Controller of Budget, CPA Dr. Margaret Nyakango. Oh, she's, I think she's the one who is totally alone. Okay, yeah. So I think she knows how to control her budget. Then we have the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. I don't know whether the DPP is here. Okay, it's not in. And finally, much as is a member of the National Police Service Commission, the Inspector General of Police, Japheth Kome Chebere, is also an independent constitutional office. Oh, and the deputies. Yeah. Thank you. So thank you very much, Your Excellency. That is a total of 15 commissions and 5 independent offices. Your Excellency, we are greatly honored and privileged to have this opportunity upon your invitation to engage with you as the President and Head of State and appointing authority, and to meet you for the first time as a group of chairs and commissioners and holders of independent offices. Your Excellency, whereas we may have done this before in individual and other capacities, may I, on behalf of all present today, once again convey our warm congratulations on your election and accession to office as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces. We pledge and confirm our support to your administration. Your Excellency, we are deeply conscious of the fact that you have been consistent in your commitment to supporting CCIOs, as has briefly been outlined by the Vice Chair, Ms. Kajuju. Your Excellency, 11 years ago, the inaugural chairs and holders of independent offices created a forum for interactions amongst the institutions, national government, and the public, as well as the counties. The forum held annual public engagements by way of county activities on a rotational basis. Significantly, as pointed out by Ms. Kajuju, you honored the forum by gracing the last such engagement at county level in Kericho County in 2019. This was the last such forum. In the following 2 years, Your Excellency, due to COVID, the public county events were not held. In April last year, the CCIOs marked the 10th anniversary by way of a series of activities, including media interaction and public lectures to engage, educate, and gather feedback from Kenyans. These activities culminated in an anniversary celebration through a launch of a compendium and a public exhibition on the 13th of April 2022 at the KICC. Your Excellency, as again stated by my Vice Chair, we appreciate that you have designated the office of the Deputy President as the focal point in our engagement and collaboration with your government. Indeed, we have had fruitful preliminary engagement with the Deputy President and his office and shared thoughts on how to maintain robust and regular interaction. In this regard, we are looking forward to facilitation of a retreat of all of us, as present here today, to brainstorm on matters of common interest and how to enhance the interaction both at individual commission and independent holder level and at the collective level. At such a retreat, we may benefit from the unpacking of government agenda as conceptualized in the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto and be able to appreciate the priorities and focus of various ministries and departments. We shall thus be able to align our mandates with your manifesto. This is in appreciation of the fact that the exercise of our independence is nurtured in an understanding of our interdependence, so that whereas we have distinct mandates, we are focused on a collective support of national agenda. Amongst the wide array of mandates, Your Excellency, we are conscious that some of us have advisory and consultancy roles in assisting government in delivery of its agenda. We assure you that we shall play our roles appropriately and thereby help in development, service delivery, and accountability. We will always be ready and fully engaged in working for the Kenyan citizens. Your Excellency, we also appreciate that the coordination of county government activities is domiciled at the office of the Deputy President, and this will facilitate the synergy in interaction between ourselves and the county governments as well. Your Excellency, Article 254, Sub-Article 1, requires that we present our reports annually to Your Excellency and the President and to Parliament. We have not had the opportunity to present our latest annual reports physically to Your Excellency, and we would request for a session when we can do so. I know the time may not be available today, but we earnestly seek a time when we can present our annual reports to Your Excellency. I would also wish to underline the importance of the implementation of recommendations that come out of those reports and other reports. And the implementation, in our view, is particularly important. And when it's not done, it's not clear why that has not been done. And it's important that we work around understanding the challenges around implementing recommendations, which will assist us appreciate the reasons, the extent and limits of delivery of our services and mandates, so that we can also look at what alternate measures exist for purposes of implementation. Indeed, feedback will enhance our service delivery. Your Excellency, in the exercise of our mandates, we do have a number of challenges, and there are those that cut across. In the exercise of our diverse mandates, one challenge that is universal and cuts across is one of inadequate financial resources, and related thereto, the budgeting process. Your Excellency, budgetary constraints are a common concern, and some of our institutions have actually had budgets that have shrunk over time despite the growth of the requirements and activities. We are earnestly seeking engagement on this matter. Secondly, and related to, Your Excellency, the feeling of the chairs and holders of different offices is that in the budgeting process, the clustering of the commissions and independent offices in sectors does not present as an ideal forum for articulating our needs alongside the sector departments or ministries, which at times we exercise oversight mandates over. So there is that problem in budgeting, Your Excellency. We are of the view that it might be more ideal to have a constitutional commission and IO-specific committee at which to defend and have discussions around our budget issues. Your Excellency, we are confident that we shall have your support and necessary intervention as we look into this issue closely through the liaison of the Deputy President in resolving issues around our budgets, both in the short term and in the long term, and in the context of review of budgeting processes. And Your Excellency, alongside these broad budget issues are matters of human resource and related logistical support. One other challenge the CCIOs have had to deal with over time relates to legislation that circumscribes the limits of our mandates. And to that end, there are certain legal instruments that have to be looked into to avoid overlap of mandates and to ensure that we are able to exercise our mandate consistent with the Constitution. And in this regard, we hope that we shall have, again, robust engagement through the Office of the Deputy President and the Attorney General with your blessings so that we work around the issues. So as I conclude, Your Excellency, today we have 3 of our own who are transitioning, who are exiting their positions. We have carefully avoided the term retirement because we think they are transitioning, perhaps to even better positions. And the 3 who are transitioning, 2 of them, their terms end today. One is a chair of IBC, Mr. Wafula Chebukati, and the other is a chair of EACC, Archbishop Emeritus Eliud Ukabukala. And the third is the chair of CRA, Commission of Revenue Allocation, Dr. Jane Kiringai, whose term expires in about a month. And Your Excellency, we shall be requesting that because this is the last day they have with you, they hand over either exit report or say a word of prayer, particularly for the Archbishop. He might share some blessing. In conclusion, Your Excellency, I once again thank you for this opportunity. Whereas we look forward to and will appreciate regular interactions, if possible, quarterly, such as this one, at the very least with the leadership of the CCIOs, we are anxious to hear from you as to how you wish us to work with you and your government. And those are my remarks, Your Excellency. And may I request that if you allow the 3 chairs that are exiting, they can probably come and hand over what they have or say a word. Pardon? Yes, that's what I want to do. Wafula Chebukati.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, and Your Excellencies, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Speakers of National Assembly and Senate, and all protocol observed. Your Excellency, what we have here is our exit report. Together with our post-election evaluation report, which we launched yesterday. marking the end of the last phase of the election cycle and the beginning of a new phase of the election cycle that now runs up to 2027. So, Your Excellency, I wish to hand you over the exit report, our post-election evaluation report, as well as the other documents which have been used by the Commission to manage the corporate governance issues. I believe that this being the last day, maybe if you have permission, I just say one word only. Yes, that we ran a free, fair, credible, transparent election 2022. And as a commission, we have put in place structures which the incoming team should build on. And these structures are espoused in our policies, manuals, as well as the operational standard operating procedures of the commission. So we are living in a commission that has strong structures, a strong secretariat, and our CEO, who is present, Mr. Marjan. And we finished the term, three of us, Professor Gulia and Molu, they are in the room. And we feel we have done our best for the country. And we believe that the incoming team should pick up from where we have left it and take us to the next level. So thank you, Your Excellency. I request that I hand you over these as reports. Asante sana. Come, Professor Marjan Molu, come forward, please. This is the exit report, which is all of us.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Marjan, Professor, thank you very much. So this is the exit report. Okay, I'll read.
This is the post-election evaluation report we launched yesterday.
Okay.
All the challenges we had and the way forward.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Beautiful. That's it?
Yeah. And then the others are manuals, procedures, governance issues. This is the election operation plan we used in 2022.
Very good.
This is the boundaries review operations plan. Boundaries ongoing exercise.
Which is going to be an ongoing exercise. Okay.
This is strategic plan 2020 to 2024.
Okay.
Which is in operation. And these are manuals for various directorates which are in place.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Quite some paperwork. Your Excellency, since you're on the podium, may I request that the other chairs maybe could hand over this? Yes. Chair Jane Kiringai? Yes, no, for them, so that Chair Jane Kiringai can come and hand over. Maybe she wants to make a statement. Oh, okay, okay. The new team, the commissioners, CRA, please come. The CEO. Your Excellency, the third chair. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the Speakers of both Houses, Honorable Moses Wetangula and Honorable Kigi, the Attorney General, all the members of Parliament present, the CEOs of commissions and our chairpersons, and all commissioners present. Good afternoon. Yes. Your Excellency, I think after the 1963 independence, the next big things that Kenyans gave themselves is the 2010 Constitution. And all of us that are seated here have that honorable duty of serving this country at that high level, thanks to that Constitution. And we don't take it for granted. We want to say a big thank you for the honor that has been bestowed upon us. So on my own behalf and on behalf of the commission that exited the commission on 31st of December, I wish to say a big thank you for the honor and the privilege. And on behalf of the new commission that you appointed, Your Excellency, we also want to say a big thank you. I have the honor of midwifing their settlement before I exit. At the time, at an appropriate time, and when the next chair is in office, they will seek audience with you to just sort of give you a big flavor of exactly what their plan is. Allow me, with your permission, Your Excellency, to just highlight 3 achievements of the last commission. And the first one, which is our principal mandate, is sharing revenue between the 2 levels of government. Your Excellency, you always reminded us, Chair, you're not a chairperson of the county governments. You are a chairperson of both levels of government. But Your Excellency, when you shared the IBEC, we have seen the equitable share to county governments increase from 190 billion in 2013 to 407 billion that we recommended this year. And collectively, that translates to 3 trillion shillings since we started devolution. Your Excellency, that's a lot of money that can catalyze a lot of development if it is utilized very well. And so there is great evidence of what that money has done at the subnational level. And that story can be told, it can be told in one story. It's actually 47 different stories. And I'm sure you've experienced that on the ground. And I want to say, Your Excellency, this was achieved through your leadership as the chairperson of IBEC, and we don't take that for granted. We enjoyed your leadership and support. The second thing that we did as a second commission is we identified 1,400 sublocations in Kenya where people live under difficult conditions. We did so through the second policy that identified marginalized areas. Your Excellency, these 1,400 sublocations is the home of 5.6 million Kenyans who would really benefit from the Equalization Fund. Sadly, for the last 6 years, those funds have not been utilized, but they would make a big difference, particularly, Your Excellency. They would breathe life to the bottom up, reaching the bottom 5.6 million Kenyans, if the 42 billion shillings can actually be utilized to the Equalization Fund. So we are looking and hoping your administration, Your Excellency, would be able to unlock these funds to change the lives of these 5.6. Difficult process to see us where we are. And we thank you again for your leadership, that time as the chair of IBEC. Allow me to conclude by just three points, or 3 areas we felt we didn't achieve as much as we wanted to, and we were hoping that through your administration, they can actually be taken forward. The first, Your Excellency, is funding of cities. Your Excellency, cities are the centers of growth. Well-functioning cities have the possibility to create the middle class. It is cities that create the middle class. They generate, in well-functioning cities, generate over 60% of GDP. So your sorry? Okay. Okay. No problem, Your Excellency. One of the areas where we felt we didn't exactly succeed is accessing more funding for our cities, because cities are the centers of growth, and well-functioning cities create the middle class. They also generate over 60% of GDP in countries where they function very well. So we believe if there's any way your administration can pay greater attention to our cities, mobilizing excellent funding, that will be the basis of economic transformation, which Your Excellency is part of your administration structure. That's one, functioning cities. The second one, Your Excellency, we felt that, and I want to quote you at the last IBEC, where you said that on-source revenue by county government is a sleeping giant. And we believe there's great potential there. You're right, Your Excellency. At the moment, counties collect only 35 billion on average on their own revenue. Our studies have shown that they can collect in excess of 200 billion shillings. What can be done? We believe if you can come up with a good competitive grant to help or create the incentive for counties to achieve their own revenue, it would unlock this great potential at the local level, and this really would see significant development in our countries. One of the things we have advocated for, again with limited success, is moving towards a unified system of revenue collection for county governments. That would be great. And one of the other things is automating the large records or activities at the county level. And the last one, Your Excellency, we've been to every county in public participation. And everywhere we went, all the Kenyans said, water, water, water. Priority number 1, priority number 2, and priority number 3. It was our hope that your administration would come up with a Marshall Plan to address the water problem. That's the future. And the recent drought has demonstrated that indeed this is the case. And one thing, finally, Your Excellency, I remember we had a conversation where you told me, Chair, if there's one thing I pray for you, is that you have the wisdom to know when to exit. I believe it's not yet time. If it's okay for you, Mtupange. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Chair Jane Kiringai. I think the message is clear that you are not exiting, you are transitioning. Your Excellency, finally, in this group, we have the Archbishop Emeritus, Eliud Wakupokala. Maybe you can come up front.
Your Excellency, our President, Your Excellency William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, Honorable Members, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Musalia Mudavadi, Honorable Attorney General, our two speakers, Honorable Moses Wetangula and Amos Kingi, all members of Parliament present, our chairpersons of various commissions that are here and independent offices, CEOs present. Again, good morning. Good afternoon. Your Excellency, first, I'm very glad to be here. I may not come with a whole document like my friend Chepkati has done, because in my exit, I have handled the commission. May I invite my commissioners and CEO to come so that I hand you over to His Excellency the President as my exit report. Please come forward so that this is, I remember one time when I became a bishop, I asked, like Bishop told me, the best person to hand over other people. So we are not quite many. Your Excellency, my term ends today, and at the Commission, I was specifically placed there to bring stability. There was a lot of turnover at that Commission, and in one effort to do that, we helped to stagger the entry of these commissioners in stages. We talked to the commissioners who were exiting, 4 of them at the same time. 2 accepted to exit earlier. They sacrificed 2 months. And then we got new commissioners, Colonel Mushimba and Dr. Muriu, who has now become my vice chair. Then when the other commissioners exited in December, again they were recruited for us 2 commissioners, Mr. Agola is here, Ogalo, and Commissioner Dr. Cecilia. And then, of course, within that transition, I had to bring in again the new CEO after the exit of Mr. Alekewako, and that is Mr. Twalib Mbarak. Now, I have sat with them, and in the resolution which I had was to make an interim chair who has taken over. Therefore, our annual report, which normally comes to the presidency in the usual way, is with them, and it will come in the normal ways of reporting to the president every year, and every 3 months we report to Parliament with that report. I want to assure Your Excellency that EACC is stable with a strategic focus on asset recovery, law enforcement, education, and awareness for people to understand that with the corruption, all the things that we have talked about in the finances and whatever we want to collect will not help us. And these commissioners and the CEO and our team are up to the task. I live with a lot of joy, sir, that our commission is stable and you are free every time as government, advise, share, and work out the programs of government together. And so this afternoon, I just want, as my brother said, to wish all of us peace. Our Lord said peace. Shalom. Asante sana.
Check. Hand them over. Look at nice. Okay. Hello, how are you? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Your Excellency, as we wind up our portion of the program, I would kindly request that we present you and your Deputy President with a copy of the compendium that we compiled at the end of the at the 10th anniversary last year. With your kind permission, we want to present that to you with my vice. So, Your Excellency, with that, we come to the end of our part of this program. And with your permission, may I invite the Prime Cabinet Secretary to take over the program from here.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Chair and eminent persons of all the commissions present, our two speakers, Speaker Wetangula and Speaker Amason Kingi, the Attorney General. I must admit that I didn't know that constitutional commissions can ambush you. So when Otachi invited me here, for a moment I was hesitant. But let me just take this opportunity at a personal level to congratulate these good men and women for the very important job that they are doing for this country. It is not an easy assignment. You make friends, you make enemies, but what is more important is that your commitment to the Constitution must always be firm. We want to rely on you heavily all the time to make sure that you can put us on the straight and narrow as a society, as an administration, and as a people, as we continue to serve Kenyans. Your Excellency, a very good example has been demonstrated here in terms of transitioning. The handover, the transition process, the exiting commissioners doing a good job and handing over smoothly to those who are coming after them. There's a very fundamental statement that has been made by those gestures, a statement that I believe needs to be broadened and deepened in our laws so that we can look at the whole issue of transitioning more deeply and more thoroughly as a country. Because we have tended to assume that transition, as provided for under the Assumption of Office Act, is basically at the apex. And we have forgotten to figure out and maybe to codify, and I think we should now, through these constitutional commissioners and collectively, codify transition and define it beyond the transition of one head of state to another, but what is the transition in the whole administration? What is your role? What should a permanent secretary do? What should an inspector general do? What should the other person do in this whole process of transition? Because we owe it to our society and to our people that transitions must be smooth, everybody must be obligated, and if you fail to do your role in accordance with the Constitution, what are the penalties that need to arise? We need to think through this carefully, not because we are Kenya, but because we are beginning to see that even established democracies like the US are faltering in this kind of situation. We're also beginning to see even countries like Brazil are beginning to falter. Sisi tuliponea chupu chupu. That's the truth, and we know it. We need to think through this and see how we can collectively make sure that we codify transition, not just at the apex, but across the entire public service. With these few remarks, let me request the Deputy President to come forward and take it from there. I hope I've not ambushed him, so that he can drive the rest of the evening. Thank you so much, And once again, I wish you all a prosperous new year and success in your roles in the various commissions that you lead us in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, chairs of constitutional commissions, heads of independent offices. Happy New Year. The Prime Cabinet Secretary, you wouldn't ambush us. We are always ready. You know where we have come from. We have lived on the lookout from left and right. So we are always ready. I want to thank you very much for coming, Your Excellency. In the formation of your government, you did designate the role of coordinating and creating a liaison function for constitutional offices, constitutional commissions and independent offices in my office, a role that we have already created structures to start implementing. And Your Excellency, you have been very clear in your instructions to me that that role in no way translates into us meddling into the independence of these commissions. And we are very clear that is not our role. Ours is to create a liaison function among these commissions and to create a bridge with the executive to create a mechanism of engagement with the National Treasury, with various government ministries and departments, so that we can make these commissions and independent offices more efficient by unlocking whatever bottlenecks may be on the way because of lack of that coordination. Forum to set the agenda for our retreat, where we shall meet all these good people to create the terms of engagement and create mechanisms for continuous engagement so that we can make their work easier and enable them execute their constitutional mandate for the benefit of the people of Kenya. Your Excellency, it is your leadership style that a good idea must give room to a better idea, and a better idea must ultimately give room to the best idea. And it is for that reason that you have asked that even as we have listened to the chairs who are exiting, it is good we listen to a few of the ones who are continuing, because we are the people of the future. It is in that spirit that I request the Vice Chair, Commissioner Kajuju, to come and moderate this session, where you get about 6 or 7 persons or so to have 2 to 3 minutes, so that you can, one, say what you need to say to the President and to the rest of us, and also appreciate the chairs who are exiting after an exemplary service to the respective commissions and to the people of Kenya. Commissioner Kajuju, karibu.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Deputy President. I believe now you can see the mandate that you have in your Office of Liaison. It's giving us fruits, where we are transiting to the next assignment. Thank you, our Deputy President, and thank you, the Deputy President. As advised by our liaison, I've been asked to especially request the chairpersons and the independent offices that deal with budgets, because Chair Jane spoke about water, 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 which is the President's vision. There cannot be water without money. So I'm requesting a few of us to be able to just say a word. And of course, our Busham, I'm sorry, Auditor General, you've always been ready to say something about money, the figures. So kindly, Auditor General Nancy, please come up and say a word. And thereafter, I'll be requesting the control of budget to say a word, and the chairperson who manages what we get at the end of the day, Chair Lynn Mengich. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Your Excellency, Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the speakers of the two houses, I think my employers, by extension, who have been mandated to work with me by the people of Kenya, Honorable Wetangula and Honorable Kingi, chairs of commissions, holders of independent offices, CEOs and commissioners, and my deputies. You have not been forgotten. They are not referred to as commissioners, they are deputy auditor generals. I thank you for this opportunity that you've given me. I also wish to thank you, Your Excellency, for inviting me to the cabinet retreat in Nanyuki, where I did represent the CCIOs and myself as the Auditor General on issues we'd want your leadership to look at moving forward to get us, Your Excellency, out of the loop of perennial wastage of resources, reallocations, misallocations, and lack of effectiveness in the use of the resources that this country generates through revenue raising. It has already been indicated by the chair and the vice chair that our role, and I want to emphasize this, Your Excellency, is that of collaboration, is that of working together, and is not adversarial. There are pockets of wastage that we raise through the reports. There are issues that require implementation, Your Excellency, so that this country can move forward. Indeed, we were discussing today with the Controller of Budget and the Honorable the Attorney General that if we concentrated, and this is to the speakers, if we concentrated first on the reports of the Controller of Budget, on how budget is implemented, then down the river or down the road, we would not be having all these headlines that seem to indicate that this country is not developing or that this country is not getting out of wastage, corruption, and other misallocations of resources. I wouldn't say much, Your Excellency, now, but the issues we need to look at is pending bills, and I did emphasize on this in Nanyuki, that when we are talking of building the bottom up in terms of businesses, then we are also sabotaging the very same businesses by not paying for the supplies they've given government or the work that they've done for the government. The issue of lack of accountability for the resources is very critical, that every one of the people you have delegated to assist you in delivering on the mandate and on the needs of the Kenyan people must be accountable for what they are given. And if they're accountable, Your Excellency, then you're able and your team is able to build trust in your government. When we issue the reports that we do as constitutional commissions and independent offices, and it's all, if I may say, doom and gloom, then you lose, as a government, trust of the people, which is very, very important, because there's nowhere else that the counties or the country or the Kenyans will go to except to this country. We are here to support you. I want to reiterate again, we are your advisors, even as your CSs and PSs employ other advisors. They must know that we are the front line and we can guide them we can discuss with them, we can consult with them to improve on accountability. Your Excellency, I would want just to speak about how we manage our financial year. That is a public financial management cycle. I have reiterated this before, that we must follow the Constitution and we must follow the law. The Constitution speaks to 12 months in a year, which is a financial year. But Your Excellency, we have created a 13th month, and in that 13th month, there's a lot of wastage of resources. As your accounting officers whom you've appointed struggle to absorb funds in May, June, and unfortunately in July, funds that they should not be receiving in July. And that creates the loopholes, Your Excellency, for wastage, reallocation, misallocation, illegalities, and irregularities. The CS National Treasury needs to address this, and Your Excellency, this can be done as a directive or as an amendment to the Public Finance Management Act, including instituting accrual accounting so that your PSs don't struggle as other PSs have struggled before to absorb funds at the last quarter of the financial year. There are many other issues that we'll discuss when we have a meeting with the PSs under the guidance of the Vice President and the Head of Public Service. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Nancy, for the words of wisdom and the way forward in budget. I will request my sister, the Controller of Budget, kindly come over.
Your Excellency, forgive me if I miss out some of these protocols. Your Excellency, Deputy President, Your Excellency, Cabinet Secretaries and the Speakers and the Attorney General, all protocols observed. Talking of ambush, I would like to thank the Vice Chair of the CCIOs for successfully ambushing me. And what I would like to do here is just to share a story that I learned when I was a little girl. And this story was given to me by my mother. Once upon a time, there was this young man who was sentenced to die in a court. And before he was to hang, he just made one request. And he said, please allow me to talk, to whisper something to my mother. And his mother was called. She was actually in court. And when she came, they thought the young man was going to whisper something in his ear. But what happened is that this young man beat the ear of the mother completely and spat it out. And when he did that, everybody was in shock. And the judge just asked him to explain what was happening. And he said, Judge, my mother never warned me when I was young. I used to bring things that were stolen, and she used to congratulate me. She used to tell me, good boy. And I used to go out and steal some more. And the things became bigger and bigger by the day. So what's the moral of this story? That when we are implementing our budgets, there are certain malpractices that have crept in. And indeed, that the spirit of the Constitution in creating the Office of the Controller of Budget was for the government to hear about the malpractices early enough so that corrective action could be taken. The Controller of Budget's office is that office that sees these things when they are still young, like the young boy. But what have we been doing? Have we been encouraging the young boy to steal some more? Your Excellency, mine is to seek support. As you saw today, when I introduced myself, I was all alone. And that's how I work. I have only one deputy and a very lean staff. When you hear the counties complaining that their requisitions have delayed, it is because we are very lean on the ground. Please support this office. Give us staff and give us resources. And just like the Auditor General said, we will see these things when they are young and we can nip them in the bud. We can stop the Auditor General writing pages and pages of audit queries, which, even if we wanted to address, they are really just too many. Every day you see them and you say, what shall we do to this country? And addressing the issue of budgets, let us budget carefully. Chairs of commissions, please advise those that you oversight to be serious about the budgeting. Let's not just make wish lists which we know cannot work. And at this time, when we are in a very tight spot financially, because of what we have done before, let us use every cent carefully, prudently, to achieve that that we have intended to achieve. With those few remarks, Your Excellency, I wish to just congratulate those who are leaving office and also encourage those who are still in office to emulate all those good things that those who are leaving have done, so that come the day when we are transitioning, everybody will clap that we have done a good job. Thank you very much and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Controller of Budget. As I continue to request the chairs to speak, I know questions will be around gender balance. You'll find, Your Excellency, there are quite a number of strong women running these commissions, and we thank you for finding it fit, because you're a believer of the women's space. Thank you, Your Excellency. I'll now request our sister, Lynn, to kindly come over.
Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Your Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Your Excellencies, the Speakers of both Houses of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Because we have been ambushed, I'll make very quick remarks. The first one for me is to do with wage bill. You're all aware that this commission looks after the total wage bill for the public sector. Today, as we speak, that wage bill consumes more than 50%. It's actually 51% of the total revenue. As a country, if we are spending 51% of our revenue on wage bill, it begs the question as to what remains for development and service delivery. Indeed, where we are at the moment is a space where we have overshot the targets that are known internationally. According to World Bank and a lot of other studies, a country such as Kenya should not be spending more than 35% of the wage bill of revenue on wage bill. And this is enshrined in the Public Finance Management Act, which stipulates that not more than 35% of revenue should be spent on the wage bill. Your Excellency, because of the situation where we are, it poses two challenges that I would like to talk about today and to make a request. The first one is to get out of this situation, the answer will come from increasing productivity. As a country, we are not doing very well. Internationally, we are not ranking well. In Africa, we are not ranking very well as well. So our productivity as a nation can be much, much better. Kenya, we know, has very good talent. It's got potential, and we can improve our productivity. Your Excellency, as a commission, we have reflected on this quite a lot, and we know that we can be better if we improve productivity. Our public sector can be more productive than where we are today. And Your Excellency, we would really like to request that productivity indeed be enshrined in what we do in the public sector and through the Office of the Deputy President for us to look at this agenda more closely. We do have the National Productivity Center in this country. It has been here with us for more than 20 years, but I can say that there is not much we have achieved through that center. But it has a lot of potential, and we can do much, much more. So let me make a request through the Office of the Deputy President that this productivity agenda be brought on the table, it be discussed as a commission and a number of the other commissions, especially in the PFM institutions. We are ready to work with government to address this issue, which will solve the issue of increasing the revenue in the country. The second challenge that we have, which affects service delivery, is a question of efficient and prudent utilization of resources. My previous speakers, the two chairs, have talked about wastage of resources. But if we look at the wage bill itself, it's not just about the absolute basic salary that is an issue, but we've got a lot of wastage when we talk about allowances, when we talk about benefits. There is a lot of wastage. And if you look at the amount of money that goes into allowances, in some institutions, it is more than 300% of the basic salary. So there is room for this country to be more efficient and reduce wastage by just addressing the various allowances that we have as a country. As I speak on the second issue, which is about accountability for resources, which again the previous speakers have talked about, we've got many reports from the Controller of Budget that are released every quarter. It points out where the leakage is, even in terms of remuneration and benefits. But implementation is always a challenge. And as we look at this, Your Excellency, when you look at what it does at the county level, it means that very little money goes into service delivery and development. The Controller of Budget's reports indicates that for a number of counties, up to 65% of their revenue is spent on the wage bill. And hence, it's not surprising that we still, as a country, especially if you look at the ASAL areas, we're still at the point of food relief. We should not be there as a country. And we must, therefore, as I conclude, pay a lot of attention on how resources are utilized at the county level so that we can release more money for service delivery and for development at that level. So thank you, Your Excellency. As I make my last remark is, as a commission and all independent offices, we are ready to work with your administration in a collaborative manner so that we can discharge our mandate, which is really about delivering services to the citizens of this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So that I'm not accused of not looking at the other side of gender, allow me, Your Excellency, to call Mr. Macharia Jero, who is the Vice Chair of the Judicial Service Commission, which is the other arm of government. Kindly, and don't complain about Abush. I know you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President, and Your Excellency, the Deputy President. Allow me to adopt the protocols that have already been adopted here. And to most sincerely thank you, Your Excellency, for these continuous engagements that you've been encouraging among all the players within the government. It is all fresh and new. I was a chair of IPOA for 6 years, and not once did we visit State House on this kind of engagement. So it is very good, and I feel that we are very fortunate as commissions and independent institutions to have Your Excellency inviting us regularly. I'll say 3 things very quickly. First and foremost, on behalf of the Chief Justice and the Judicial Service Commission and the Institution of Judiciary, to thank you most sincerely for the special focus that you've given on the institution of the judiciary. There has been complaints before that this is an institution that had been neglected, particularly in terms of the issues of resources. And the commitment you gave when you were sworn in, you've lived to it. And there's nothing as good as when action is followed by the words that have been spoken, and you are living testimony to that, that whatever you've said, you've lived through it with concrete actions, and for that we thank you. Secondly, to also assure you that Judiciary and the Judicial Service Commission is giving special focus to the issue of clearing the backlog and ensuring that there's efficient administration of justice, because that speaks to the issue of ease of doing business and resolving disputes, in a very expeditious manner, because it speaks to the very fabric of our society. And finally, to also assure you, Your Excellency, that we are giving special focus to the issue of the vision, a sense of purpose and value system within the institution. Because sometimes we don't differentiate between being time tellers and clock builders, because it's so easy for us to speak to the issue of the individuals and forgetting about the importance of building the institutions. Because as you've seen here today, there are those commissioners and even chairpersons who are exiting, others are coming in, but the institutions remain. So for us at the institution of the Judiciary and the Judicial Service Commission, what we are particularly doing is reconfiguring the institution and ensuring that we have a very efficient and robust accountability mechanism. Like JSC is ensuring that we have a complete directorate of complaints and investigations, that we can be able to also ensure that the institution of the judiciary itself and JSC is held to account, and when people have complaints, that these complaints are expeditiously dealt with, so that there can be a sense of confidence and, from the public, that the institution of judiciary itself is not only asking for resources, but we also accounting ourselves to the members of the public. So we want to thank you, Your Excellency, and to request you that whenever you are thinking about us in terms of the resource allocation, be assured that these resources will be utilized correctly. We'll ensure that the institution itself is accountable to the members of the public, and that in terms of Kenya Kwanza manifesto, we'll continue supporting it, particularly on the issue of the small claims court, to ensure that the bottom-up approach is so felt at the very bottom when it comes to administration of justice. Thank you so much. And I thank you for ambushing me, because I was able to say a few words on behalf of the institution of the judiciary and JSC. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the chairs have asked me to ask you that since you've set a tradition of receiving exit reports, so next bunch of chairs that will be exiting, you'll be kind enough, Your Excellency, to receive their exit reports. And since Your Excellency have been blowing other people's trumpet, allow me to blow the trumpet of the CAJ, the Office of the Ombudsman, in a minute. Your Excellency, we were happy as a commission when you established the Ministry of ICT and specifically brought up a department on digital economy. As the commission, we implement the Access to Information Act that requires government to have digitized the public service within 3 years from the time the Access to Information Act was passed. That was 2016. 3 years down the line, nothing has happened in terms of digitization of the public service. But when you've come up, Your Excellency, you made a decision that we have a digital economy as an office that will take care of access to information and the computerization of government. We are asking Your Excellency, because we are part and parcel of the process, and we've had a meeting with the Minister of ICT, that we work together so that we support government with our expertise to ensure that citizens are able to get the information that, as a matter of right, they have been given by the Constitution. Again, Your Excellency, we as a commission have a way of recognizing public servants. And I know service delivery is key, is central to your delivery of the Kenya Kwanza plan. Your Excellency, we shall be hosting in the course of the year a Huduma Ombudsman Award. As we speak now, we are going around several entities, trying to identify public servants who are efficient, effective, and excellent in delivery of their services. We shall be requesting you, and allow me to request you now, when you're hosting, when you've identified those particular public servants who are experts, who are the best, that Your Excellency, you will be present. You're honored to be there, to be able to recognize these servants who are supporting the government to deliver. Lastly, Your Excellency, among the chairs present, we have international obligations. We have chairs who are presidents of, like the chair of the African president representing African region in the International Ombudsman Institute, and also the Secretary General of the African Ombudsman and Mediators Association. Your Excellency, even as we talk about budgets, there are international obligations that most of the chairs, and I remember that the exiting chair, Mr. Chebukati, was the president within the IEBC in the other African regions. So, Your Excellency, we have chairs who have respective roles within the international space. So even that, Your Excellency, is something that we'll be speaking to when we meet the Deputy President to discuss how we're going to work as we move forward. With that, Your Excellency, thank you, and thank you, Deputy President, for this opportunity you've given us to be able to speak to what we do and what we're going to do with you as we move forward. Thank you for the honor. I think the Deputy President had allowed me to call some other people, if I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not breaching the protocols, Your Excellency. Please allow me, because even the Senate has summoned us to go and say what we do. And next week, the last week of the month, we shall be with Senate saying what we do, Your Excellency, so that we can get the funds, the budget. And I've served with my brother, Senator Cheruyot. I would kindly request you as the majority leader to say a word. This is a privilege that I've never experienced in my life. So if the more I stay here, the more I feel good, Your Excellency. Allow me.
Okay, good. Your Excellency, the President, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Prime Cabinet Secretary, Speakers of both Houses of Parliament, Speaker Weta and Speaker Kingi, and all distinguished guests that are here this afternoon. Good afternoon. Well, we're here to celebrate great service to country. And when God affords you an opportunity to serve your country, it's something that one shouldn't take lightly. Therefore, I believe this gathering is extremely important because you're celebrating men and women that have served Kenya in very high levels of government and done us proud. Therefore, on behalf of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, we celebrate the three chairs that are retiring today. Archbishop Eliud Emeritus, we celebrate you for the great work of the three chairs that are retiring. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I've never had the chance to interact with you at your place of work, which is a good thing, I think. And to the other two, Dr. Jen, having been a member of Budget and Finance the last two terms of Parliament, we've worked very closely, crafting formulas and agreeing on the vertical distribution of resources amongst the two levels of government. And I know you have served us well with great distinction. We celebrate you as well. And of course, last but not least,
we celebrate our good friend Wafula Chebukati, who served us well. And not just well, you served under very difficult circumstances. Earlier today, Your Excellency, I said to the AG, because, I am not in unfamiliar territory. I have served in Constitutional Commission as well. The last 5 years, I was a commissioner at PSC, and my chairperson was the AG. And we looked back today and said, just reflecting on the story of the 3 IBC commissioners that are retiring, that we owe them an apology between the AG and myself. Because it's easy to pass on blame as we are here as Constitutional Commission and say, oh, we celebrate IBC for the work that they did, but this or the other commission didn't do their work so well. I think us as PSC also, there's a part where we missed a step. And I said to the AG today that we'll pull Wafula Chebukati aside and say, we are sorry for our contribution into part of the problems we had. Why do I say that? The IBC Act provides that PSC, that's a Parliamentary Service Commission, needs to nominate 4 members to the selection panel. And then the selection panel, of course, will pick the subsequent commissioners, just like the exercise that is about to happen. Last year, or about 2 years ago, when we had that opportunity, of course, we sat down and you remember, for those of you that are aware about how Kenya was at that particular time, there was no difference, there was no majority and minority in parliament. Both sides were the same. Then there was another small amorphous group, not small actually, large but unrecognized, that was largely operating around the then deputy president, now our president. So we sat down and said, how do we ensure that in nominating the selection panel to the IEBC, we have the face of Kenya and reflect both sides of the divide? And we came up with the right decision. We said, if you take it to parliament before majority and minority leaders, then they are likely to return names from only one team. The team that you then led wasn't going to be represented. Therefore, we took a wise decision and said, we are going to do it at PSC. And we closed the meeting, we prayed, and we left. Unfortunately, as was the culture back then, phone calls flew in, and we were called back to the meeting. We rescinded that decision, and we gave the opportunity to majority and minority side. As you know and understand, those were one side of the political divide. So we ended up with 4 members of selection panel from one side of the divide and none from the other. The long story short, those 4 actually gave birth to the infamous OPEC 4, if I may put it. Therefore, I say to the AG today, we had our own share of blame. And that probably for the trouble that you went through because of that, I take this opportunity to say we will do better. We will become like you. Even when you are tested in difficult times, I think the lesson that you have taught us is that we need to stand firm and not give the very famous excuse that we used to give the last few months and say, oh, I wanted to do the right thing, but a phone call, a very powerful call came from somewhere. And I think if you had done that, Chairman Chebukati, probably wouldn't be here as a country. Therefore, thank you for teaching us how to serve our country with distinction and honor. That's a great lesson that you taught us. And I guess the same can be emulated by all of us in our places of work. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Mr. President, it appears as if my year is starting well. With your blessings and the blessings of the Deputy President, I'm being advised to invite you. Mr. President, we thank you for the opportunity to meet the CCIOs and would like to hear your side of the story, as you've shown beyond reasonable doubt that you're willing to work with the commissions, ready, able, and willing. Okay, I'll let the Deputy President run the program from there. That was the limit of my instructions.
Thank you, Commissioner. You are listening to too many people. I told you exactly what to do. I think we still had few people to say something, because I don't think this occasion will be complete bila ile kizungu ya weta. Sindio? Now also we wanted to hear from the AG and probably one more chair, and then we can call the president, because we wanted to balance a little bit. So, Attorney General, please come and say something.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia, the Right Honorable Speakers of the two Houses of Parliament, the Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula, and the Honorable Amason Jeff Akingi, chairs of independent offices and chairs of commissions, and as well as the commissioners here present and CEOs. I stand here as a commissioner in the JSC, courtesy of the appointment by His Excellency the President to the office of the Attorney General. But I could very well speak about some of my experiences within the commission. But my young brother, the majority leader in the Senate, the Honorable Aaron Cheriot, has let the bag out. Yesterday, as the chair of the IEBC and Commissioners Guliye and Molu released to us the post-election evaluation report, I looked at the Honorable Mr. Chepkati, and I wondered what metal he's made of. Because the Honorable Chepkati is indeed a Kenyan to emulate. And it is, I believe, not a coincidence that the chair of the CCIOs saying that he is the chair of the moment. Indeed, Mr. Chepkati, you made all of us very, very proud by standing firm. As a country, we are proud to have had you at the helm of the IEBC. And the position of the IEBC in our Constitution is, as many of you perhaps may know, quite elevated. Sometimes you'd wonder when you look at the reports that come from Chair Lynn Mengich, when you see where the IEBC is placed. And I think it's for good measure. I think as Kenyans, we made the right decision, because without elevating that commission to where we did, and luckily, notwithstanding the mistakes that the Honorable Aaron Cheriot has mentioned, by grace of God, we had a firm person as a chairperson, and his two colleagues, Professor Guliye and Molu. We will not be where we are. Today, we walk around the world with our hands high up, very proud today because of where the conduct of the commission, and particularly Mr. Chepkati, put us. Just like it normally happens when we see people doing the marathon, Boston, Berlin, wherever. And, sometimes, like, as we are used to. If you are traveling in some other places, you'd say, yeah, I know that one very well. It's actually from my village. we know most likely could be from Kericho or from Elgeyo Marakwet, but we proudly say that one. I know this one very well. Ni mtoto ya mjomba yangu. So, Mr. Chebukati, never mind that you have now very many relatives, including me, because of what you did. Singular act of sheer commitment and firmness to the rule of law and constitutionalism. Thank you. May God bless you abundantly. May I take this opportunity to congratulate all the other chairs and independent office holders. Please, let us emulate the work of our brother. Mr. Chebukati, you are not retiring. I hope this country, this administration, led by His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, should find some other place for you to continue leading this country with that kind of resolve. With that, Your Excellency, allow me to invite my brother, the Speaker of the Senate, the Right Honorable Jeffer Amason Kingi, to come and make his remarks. Karibu sana.
I hope you can see me, because I belong to the tribe that is challenged vertically. Your Excellency, the President, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Prime Cabinet Secretary, my brother, Speaker Moses, Majority Leader H.E, chairs, CEOs, good afternoon. Allow me to associate myself with the statements that have been made here in terms of appreciating the work that the commissions are doing, and more particularly congratulating the 3 chairs who are exiting and transiting today. Indeed, sitting there and listening to the testimonies that have been made here, you've certainly done a good job in helping government run. To some mad guy out there, he may argue that why should independent commissions spend a day with the president in State House? To me, that is looking at the word independence in such a narrow way. In as much as these commissions are independent, in as much as we have independent offices, but we don't work independently in as far as the family called government is concerned. We are like a production line with many gears. But all these gears, they can only be said to be functioning well if the final product, which is one, is good. And therefore, to those who still subscribe to the fact that because you're an independent commission, you need to see eye to eye with the president, or to the CSs or the PSs, I want to advise you as a lawyer that what you're doing today is indeed the right way. We need to bring synergy in government. We need to bring linkages in government. We need to bring collaborations between government agencies for the president to deliver on his mandate. And I think to my brother who said he served in IPOA for all those years and he never had a minute with the president or with the government then, that is not supposed to be the case. Because what you do will either enable the president to deliver on his mandate, or it will disable the president from delivering on his mandate. And I think our president is very clear on where he wants to take this country through what we call the plan. And he knows that he needs partners in making sure that the plan succeeds. And there can never be better partners than these commissions. Because if you look at the mandate of the commissions, and if you deliver on your mandates, then the president will have an easy time delivering the plan. Because your mandate basically are enabling instruments for government to be able to deliver on their manifestos and on their plan. So indeed feel confident that His Excellency has invited you here. It is on the realization that he needs partners to make sure that he anchors his plan well and ultimately services are brought closer to our people. Just like the other speakers, allow me to congratulate and appreciate the three exiting chairmen, starting with the Bishop of Fula Chebukati, a man I've known for Wabukala. Yeah, they come from the same village, is it? Wafula, Wabukala. The name Chebukati will ring forever. Will ring forever in our minds. To appreciate the good work you have done. He's a man I've known. Even after he assumed the office at EACC, he has been faithful to the church. He has come to Kilifi several times. We have worked together raising funds to build the church. And I believe as you exit, you'll find a better place, another chapter, another page God certainly has prepared for you. We appreciate you for the great work that you've done. To Dr. Jane, we have interacted many times, and your advice is always on point. And I believe in as much as you've said the three things that you never achieved, but you have built a foundation. And I believe the chair coming after you will be able to build on that foundation and also seek solution to the three pending issues that you have put across. To my learned friend, Wafula Chebukati, a man I've practiced law with in Mombasa before he became the chair of IBC. I don't envy you. At some point when I was in Karen, really worried, I had to talk to the then deputy president, asking him, are we good? And he said, don't worry, there's God in heaven. That is the answer that our president used to give us every time we see a dark cloud hanging. And we'll say, it's all good. And when we drove together in a convoy that day, the 15th of August, to come to Bomas, and we're just pelted with stones as we enter Bomas. We went to a holding room. For many hours, we were kept there. And then eventually we were ushered into a waiting room just outside the auditorium. And I remember, I thought I made a mistake by accompanying the then deputy president to that function, because the commotion that ensued, in fact, before the commotion in the auditorium, something happened where we were waiting. And I felt, if I feel I'm not safe as a person here, what about the chairperson? Because the group that came to threaten us as we were waiting to be ushered into the auditorium had actually left the office of the chairperson, and we knew things were not right. And when you walked in and you're physically assaulted, I knew that you're under immense pressure. And not just for that day, for that period that you're managing this election. And despite all that, you stood firm, really firm. And today, not just this country, not just Africa, but the world is celebrating you. So as you exit holding your head high. We celebrate you, and I believe you made the chair, the shoe to the chair of IBC so big that whoever is coming in will struggle to fit in. But we pray to God that he gives us a chair that will take the standards from where you've left them, take them even higher. So we thank God for you, and we pray that the next page will be less controversial. I know the AG has said that we should find a place for the exiting chair of IBC, and I want to pray that that place will be less controversial so that you can regain your composure. I know you're not through yet with the kind of shaking that went through that time. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to appreciate every one of you, that whatever you do at the commission will either enable the president deliver, or in a way it may affect his delivery of services to the country. So I want to urge you that we put our best going forward. As a Senate, I decided as a speaker to start paying courtesy call on the different commissions, because I believe we can build a partnership. And one of the commissions that I did pay a courtesy call was the commission, the Auditor General, because one of the biggest mandates of the Senate is oversight. But you see, the Senate can only oversight if it has the knowledge. The only instrument they use to oversight counties is the auditor's report. They need to know the whole process of auditing. They need to understand the issues of audit for them to be better placed to offer the oversight and deliver on the oversight mandate. So we agreed with the Auditor General that in the few weeks coming, we're going to have an induction course seminar where we're going to bring a whole lot of you. Quite a number of commissions will be invited, so that you talk to our senators, arm them with that knowledge. Otherwise, for them to hold governors into account and they don't have that of knowledge, it's like having a policeman with you arm a policeman with a Vitz, and then the thugs, you give them a Peugeot. Certainly, they may not be able to catch up with the people they're supposed to catch up with. So we are doing this in collaboration, in partnerships, because ultimately we want to be called a government that delivers. I thank you. Wetangula, Papa Waroma, as known and known.
Thank you, Speaker Emerson. Your Excellency, our President, Your Excellency, Deputy President, Your Excellency, Prime Cabinet Secretary, Speaker Kingi, Attorney General, all chairmen and commissioners, and your CEOs, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, today is a really important day. An important day because you've taken it to spare time and appreciate Kenyans who toil and moil in the back rooms to make the wheels turn for this country. We've come here, fellow Kenyans who have been called upon and been given the privilege to serve our country, to appreciate you, to encourage you, and to ensure that you become critical cogs in the wheel that the President is steering and turning to improve our country. The three commissioners retiring, Your Excellency, I'm a bit concerned that the retiring or the exit of Bishop Wabukala and Wafula Chebukati is going to significantly impact on unemployment status in my county. So when we talk of
not retiring but moving on, I believe you will cause them to do so. I've worked with Dr. Kiringai. Aaron Cheriot and I were in the Senate Finance and Budget Committee, and we did a wonderful job with you. I have no doubt that the energy, the knowledge, the wit, everything you displayed will still be helpful at a different level. Baba Skofu Abukala, my village mate, now you'll have a little more time to take care of our souls, and we'll be available for your prayers. You've done a wonderful job. Your Excellency, Speaker King and I have been in Australia the last 1 week for the Commonwealth Speakers Conference. And everybody who spoke, the Indians, the Polynesians, the Melanesians, the Africans, the Caribbeans, were walking to us and saluting King and I in the name of Wafula Chebukati. I told Kingi, every time they salute, just put on a broad smile and take the credit on behalf of Chebukati. Because each one of them was saying, we have read, we saw on CNN, we saw on BBC, we saw on Al Jazeera what happened in Kenya. We salute that man who was the chair of your IBC. So Wakili Chebukati, we stand here to salute you in a very special way, that you stood head and shoulders above the clouds and did a job that many people for a long time will emulate. Because we know we live in a country where many, many people like yourselves with responsibility constantly look over their shoulders to see who is watching before they make decisions. Because we always believe in the fear of the unknown and that there is some big brother somewhere watching. Remember, when I talked to you at some point, I told you, Bwana Chebukati, just bear fidelity to the law, to the Constitution, and to the will of the people of Kenya. And we saw the events that culminated on the 15th of August in Bomas, that you are truly made of steel and you truly stood up above others. Because you and your colleagues, Molo and Professor, what Speaker King has described is what we all saw. But I saw a little more, because I walked into your office after the commotion and I found Professor Gulie, a professor, an adult, a commissioner, crying with both his legs bleeding profusely, having been viciously physically assaulted on the podium. What is surprising, Attorney General, is that all those goons who caused mayhem, caught on CCTV, none has been brought to justice. It's not the best way of fighting impunity, because we all saw them. We saw who boxed Chebukati. We saw who knocked down Gulie. We saw who tried to snatch the documents from Awie. That I leave to you. I want to encourage you, Bwana Chebukati, that you've now set the bar very high for many Kenyans who have been called upon to serve. You sat in an office where one time one of your predecessors told Kenyans that he didn't quite know who won the elections when he had declared a winner, and so on and so forth. But fortify your future by remembering that in Shaban Roberts' book, Kusadikika, he says, kila wakati inji huwafija mashujaa wake mpaka janga kuu litokee. Janga lipotokea, wewe kama shujaa ulitokea. And, you know, my friend, Professor Kindiki, was one time asking me, what is Chebukati made of? He just sits there, emotionless, doesn't smile, looks like an old Russian spy. But behind that stoic face lay some tremendous, admirable courage that made Kenya what it is today. Nobody will take it for granted. Nobody will take it away from you. Nobody will forget. Because you did what many people could not do. So as your kinsman and your village mate, if there's nowhere to transition, I will walk with you to make sure that you are not lonely. But our president understands that we have rewarded people who don't deserve any rewards at all in this country. And you deserve more than anybody else those rewards. For you commissioners and chairmen, Chebukati has set the bar for us, that you can actually do the right things in the face of incredible adversary and still walk tall. If what was going on in the country was something that would cause and instill fear and a chill down everybody's spine, we would not be here. But we are here because one man leading a team stood for the country. Honorable Chairman and Commissioners, I don't want to say too much. I lead the Parliamentary Service Commission, but I'm also the Speaker of the National Assembly, where all your budgets come to, where all the oversight over you is done. I want to encourage you that this country does not lack men and women who can work and work better. This country lacks men and women who can use their brain and capacity to work to improve the country, because most of them wait to see whatever they're doing, whether there are consequences or not. If you do that, then you are in the wrong place at the wrong time for the wrong country. Please style up all of us. Let's make it easy for our president to deal with much bigger issues, because down there, the wheel is turning. The two good ladies from the Control of Budget and the Auditor General, I agree with you, Auditor General. There's so much wastage in the country. Githu Muigai said that you do postmortems, you operate dead bodies. So we need to find a way of tracking these bodies while they're still alive. And that starts with Margaret. Whatever you want us to do to help you control, you are called the controller of budget. The PFM Act, Your Excellency, says nobody, without exception, should procure any goods or services without an attendant budget. Why do we have pending bills if the law was followed? These are the big questions. When we do the retreat, we will join you. Lastly, Your Excellency, as you lead us to the future, as you lead this great country to where it must be, I want to urge all of us here, in the words of John F. Kennedy, don't ask yourself what Kenya should and must do for you. Ask yourself what you must and should do for Kenya, so that zote tuchangie nchi yetu iende mbele. Tukifanya hivyo, Your Excellency, you will enjoy your leadership. Lakini tusipofanya hivyo itakuwa kama wakati wa Mzee Moi. Mimi ni driver, sijui mwizi huko kwa basi ni nani, sijui mchoyo ni nani, sijui nani ni nani. But we will support you fully. We will work with you. And we want to make Kenya a better place to live in. Thank you. Deputy President, it's now your duty to come. And in the words of Victoria Renee, she wrote a poem that said, standing where I am, I can see a better tomorrow. Standing where I am, Your Excellency, I can see a better tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Before I invite you to address these good people, let me once more thank you for taking time to interact with these great men and women who have a constitutional mandate through their institutions to create a better Kenya. Your Excellency will be engaging with all these teams, and there is a lot to do. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission, your files, we are on volume 3 on issues against you. But we'll canvass, because we need to create continuous engagement so that we make progress among yourselves and other ministries and departments, so that we can make progress. Your Excellency, your stand on respecting independent institutions is on record, to the extent that you have been accused of capturing the judiciary and other independent institutions. I think having spent more than 4 hours here with these great people, I'm sure by tomorrow, on top of being accused of having captured the judiciary because of insisting that they need to be empowered to operate independently, you'll be accused of capturing all the independent commissions and offices. Your Excellency, I want to salute Wafula Chebukati and the other 2 commissioners for standing up for Kenya, for doing the right thing, for refusing to be tempted by bribery, for rejecting intimidation and threats to overturn the will of the people and subvert the Constitution. You are our heroes. And Your Excellency, I want to thank you that last Jamhuri Day, you did honor these 3 Kenyans for their service to this great country. We are aware that you antagonized very powerful people and indeed dangerous people. As a responsible government, we have made adequate arrangements that in your retirement, you have full protection and security to enjoy your life without any fear, so that you are safe, because those are not very good people. Your Excellency, we are going to engage with this team as per your instructions, and your commitment to strengthen independent institutions will be achieved, because you are clear that that's the way to build a country, by having strong, independent institutions, not just for today, but for posterity. I now request you, all of you, to be upstanding as we welcome the President of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. President.
Prime Cabinet Secretary, the two speakers of Senate and National Assembly, Mr. H.E, chairman of our commissions and heads of independent offices, commissioners present, CEOs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Hamjambo. Happy New Year. First, let me take this opportunity to apologize. This function started late because of a small conflict in my diary. I was engaged in another meeting with the Ministry of Health because health is a very important component of our bottom-up economic transformation agenda, commonly known as the plan. And as you're all aware, we have made 2 attempts already on universal health coverage, and both of them have failed. And I don't want a 3rd attempt to fail. So you remember Charity Ngilu and Professor Nyang' Nyong'o tried it in the coalition government. There was another attempt by our Jubilee administration, and both attempts flopped. This time round, we must get it right, and that is why I am personally engaged in making sure that that program succeeds. I did make a commitment to the people of Kenya that I would assign my deputy responsibilities, because the history we have is different. And one of the major responsibilities that has assigned my good deputy is to act as the liaison and to provide a framework for the executive to work with and support and make interventions on behalf of our independent offices and commissions. This was premised on my belief that the work of independent offices and independent commissions is critical to the delivery of government programs and to the success of our country. It's also premised on my belief in the independence of these commissions, and that their work must not go to waste and must count in the delivery of our government program. You've heard from the Deputy President that my instructions were very clear. We have no intention whatsoever to managing the commissions or interfering in the work of the commissions. Our liaison and our collaboration and working together is to make it much more efficient for you to engage in government, that we support the work you do. And you have said yourselves that you have had challenges with the implementation of the recommendations that you always make. The Office of the Deputy President will now make it easier and possible for us to implement all the recommendations that you make to all the institutions in the executive. We have recommendations that come from the Auditor General. We have recommendations that come from SRC. We have recommendations that come from every independent office. It is my commitment that we want those recommendations implemented, and that is why we are working together. I also know that many independent offices and independent commissions have challenges with matters budget. That is why, again, I assigned the High Office of Deputy President to assist the commissions to negotiate their way and to appreciate the nature of the budgets that you need, because you have said in this meeting that sometimes when we sectorize our budget, you get lost in between, and sometimes you are forced to compete for resources with the very people that you oversight. And therefore, it is in their interest to make sure that you don't get as much resources so that you don't give them trouble. So, so the Deputy President's Office will help you navigate and moderate those kind of things so that you get your due place in the budget making process, and we can be able to appreciate the kind of resources that you require to make the independent offices and independent commissions functional, effective, and efficient. Matters to do with logistics, human resource, and the whole of that space that you require, you will also have an opportunity to discuss with us through the Office of the Deputy President, so that, again, we can give you the latitude to hire the people you need, and also to ensure that we look at the whole of government approach in dealing with independent offices and commissions. And finally, our approach is also to ensure that legislation that we prosecute as an administration through Parliament does not interfere with the independence of the commissions and does not claw back from some of the responsibilities that are assigned to you, because from where I sit as Deputy President before, I realized that that was one of the challenges that we had when dealing with independent offices and commissions. So that is the context that we are having this, this engagement. It is the same context that we have an engagement with the judiciary. Our belief is that an efficient, effective, independent judiciary serves the country better and holds all the other institutions of government to account, which then works for the people of Kenya. Our commitment to work with the judiciary is based on the executive supporting the judiciary in all manner of ways and eliminating unnecessary friction so that the judiciary can be effective in delivery of justice to the people of Kenya, and the judiciary can also stand up to impunity, whether it is by the executive or by the legislature, so that we can serve the country better. We're also committed to supporting our legislature. I have had consultations with the speakers so that they can also better discharge their oversight responsibility, provide a platform for the people of Kenya and their representatives to make their case, and to pass legislation that ensures that this country moves forward. And we are shortly working with the National Assembly and Senate to facilitate the executive to be better held to account by appearing on the floor of the House to answer questions, to explain policy, to attend to the needs of the people's representative in Parliament without necessarily compromising the independence of the executive or mixing the executive with the legislature. It is born out of our belief that accountability is what will cause us to deliver to the people of Kenya. So it is in that context that I believe that we need to have a working formula and metrics and arrangement between all arms of government, including our independent commissions and independent offices. And therefore, I welcome all of you to this very highly important gathering. Thank you for making time to be here. I appreciate the goodwill that you have shown, and I do not take it for granted that we can sit together as different arms of government and independent institutions to think about how we can deliver better for the people of Kenya. We have all come here to participate in a long overdue meeting. I know you've had consultations with my deputy in different situations, but I was also looking forward for us to having this meeting so that we can inaugurate a new paradigm in our collective deliberation, consultation, and aim at working to unlock the full potential and promise of our constitutional dispensation. This way, we afford ourselves the opportunity to do much more to guarantee greater freedom, entrench a culture of human rights, deepen democracy, and establish a new standard for the rule of law, transparency, and accountability in our country. The Constitution has mandated us to perform different but no less special tasks to promote a sound environment for the attainment of the greater well-being and the flourishing of our full human potential of each and every one of our people. In the dozen years that we have passed since the promulgation of the new Constitution, there can be no doubt about the profound potential of this majestic charter to transform Kenya into a modern, progressive democracy enjoying shared prosperity. The Constitution focuses on the freedom, capability, and well-being of citizens to promote strong, healthy families which make up robust, industrious communities. In turn, communities constitute a diverse, cohesive, stable, peaceful, and a prosperous nation that we all share in leading. The Constitution recognizes the promotion and actualization of the rights and freedoms and fundamental freedoms set out in the Bill of Rights as the demonstration as well as intent of its institutional dispensation. The Constitution severely restricts the range of conditions under which these rights and freedoms may be limited and forecloses any possibility of the state avoiding its obligation to observe, respect, protect, promote, and fulfill these rights and fundamental freedoms. All the functions performed by the state in the name of the people affect their experience of at least one right and or fundamental freedom. It is thus possible to categorize state functions in terms of the rights and freedoms directly affected by them. The organs of government, together with their constituent mandates and functions, as well as commissions and independent offices, are explicitly and implicitly directed towards the observance and fulfillment of certain constitutional obligations connected with corresponding rights and freedoms. The national values and principles of governance set out in Article 10 are both the means as well as the ends of the actualization of the constitutional dispensation and implementation of rights and freedoms. We have classified our ministries, departments, and agencies into thematic clusters for effective coordination of delivery and for better evaluation of performance. The thematic clusters are based on the pillars of our bottom-up economic transformation agenda, commonly known as the plan, for the rapid socio-economic transformation of our country to achieve shared prosperity from the bottom going up. A number of functions can be seen to be cross-cutting. and may be understood to be principally enablers. In any event, the pillars of our transformational agenda converge with the economic and social rights in Article 43 of our Constitution. We are, on a continuous basis, mindful of the constitutional imperatives tied to our work. They inform our intentions as well as our methods. I realize with much humility that to perform these functions, discharge our commitments, and actualize the foregoing obligations, I am vested with the constitutional authority to constitute certain offices and to appoint state and public officers. I am also authorized to mobilize resources and allocate them for expenditure through the budget in order to finance performance of their duties. I do not perform these functions in isolation. I must receive sound technical advice through my cabinet and other agencies, consult other organs of government, and defer to the feedback from commissions and independent offices. The people's representatives in Parliament furnish me with the necessary instruments to act, including to allocate and spend funds. From time to time, the judiciary likewise furnishes me with decisions, opinions, and advisories arising from its exclusive constitutional mandate to interpret the Constitution and all laws. We are cognizant of this robust system of checks and balances, which locks us into a purposive dynamic that permits us to do only right and proper acts and restrain us from pursuing improper and illegitimate objectives and courses of action. The Constitution recognizes the need for an institution to safeguard government against perverse or undesirable effects arising from a distortion of the system of checks and balances through collusion, capture, impunity, or asymmetry. It also recognizes the possibility of abuse, corruption, conflict of interest, and undue influence that can undermine the effectiveness of government and frustrate public interest. The safeguard designed by the Constitution to ensure that the public interest is insulated from failures in the three arms of government is the institution of commissions and independent offices set out in Chapter 15 of the Constitution. The objects for which they are established are explicit. 1, to protect the sovereignty of the people. 2, to ensure the observance by all state organs of democratic values and principles. And 3, to promote constitutionalism. A very strong indicator of their safeguard, or a very strong indicator of their safeguard role, is the constitutional architecture, in the fact that they are only subject to the Constitution, the law, and utterly liberated from any external influence, control, or direction. Likewise, to further highlight this constitutional pride of place, the tenure, terms of service, discipline, and removal are rigorous and entailed by design and are also explicitly expressed in the Constitution itself. To remove a member of a commission or holder of independent office, a petition has to be transmitted to the President after consideration by the National Assembly. The President may suspend the member, but shall appoint a tribunal to investigate the matter and make a binding recommendation to the President. There is no provision for a tribunal to say the President will decide. It is the tribunal that decides whether that person is dismissed or is reinstated. Commissions and independent offices are indispensable to the integrity, efficiency, and effectiveness of government, much in the same way as the internal audit function does to organizations. It generates actionable insights to orient strategy implementation so as to avoid risks and losses, enhance integrity and accountability, and improve governance and controls. We are committed as an administration to full and consistent compliance with the Constitution as a means of achieving sustainability in our governance agenda and demonstrating that sustainable development demands institutional soundness, which calls for constitutionalism. We are not going to indulge in the escapist fallacies of excusing impunity by citing development, or the cynical binaries pitting prosperity as a trade-off against freedom, or for that matter, compromising democracy and oversight in the name of unity. We will never go back to the handshake conundrum that compromised the oversight role of the opposition over government in the name of unity. And we are going to demonstrate that it is possible to work with the people who did not vote for you as an opposition, holding government to account, but serve all the people of Kenya without distinction of who voted for which side. That is a possibility. And that is a reality we must live with. The integrity of the state lies in constitutionalism. For us to deliver on our commitments and achieve the transformation we envisage, we must recognize that our institutions matter. All institutions matter. As you know, this position is not new. We pledged to take measures to enhance the autonomy and efficacy of independent institutions from the first day of this administration. I can confirm to you that shortly after our inauguration, I executed necessary instruments to appoint judges who had waited inordinately, unnecessarily, for long. I also transferred the police budget, which was unnecessarily, unconstitutionally, and illegally in the office of the president. I transferred that budget to the office of the Inspector General and appointed the IG to be the police service accounting officer. I will also enhance the budgetary allocation to the judiciary as promised, with continuous commitment to sustain it for 5 years in order to accelerate its urgently needed infrastructure development, especially in terms of constructing new court stations in presently unserved or understaffed parts of the country. I remember instructing last week our comptroller, who was the accounting officer for the defunct NMS, to transfer the money to the judiciary for them to pay for the small claim courts that have been established in Nairobi as part of my commitment when I took office. We therefore have a good track record in connection with this commitment because we believe in doing the right thing, not because it is politically expedient or otherwise advantageous, but because it is the right thing. And the Constitution is our ultimate benchmark of what is right. We have walked this road for a while now, and the judiciary can bear witness that there has been no attempt whatsoever to capture the judiciary, or any of its constituent organizations and departments, or any of its officers. We want to strengthen our republic by expanding its economy while enriching its institutions. And I mean all institutions, the institutions of parliament, the institution of the judiciary, the institutions under the Chapter 15 institutions of independent offices and independent commissions. Any policy which has the intention or effect of undermining or compromising the autonomy and effective functioning of commissions and independent offices directly assaults the people's sovereignty and through commission or omission sabotages the realization of important rights and freedoms. The existence of the institution of commissions and independent offices, therefore, must force us to stay vigilant at all times and mindful of every real boundary that exists between organizations and agencies of state and government, and by implication of the clear, inevitable, and rigid limits constitutionally imposed on the power and authority we exercise in the public interest. The performance of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission in the last general election and all the circumstances surrounding it are illustrative of this point. A while back, senior politicians teamed up to manage the presidential succession that was due in 2022, with a view to guaranteeing a very specific outcome of the ensuing election. A political mechanism was therefore instituted to facilitate this objective through the capture of autonomous constitutional bodies. In the case of the IEBC, this mechanism resolved to infiltrate the organization by introducing at its highest level 4 sleeper commissioners whose sole task was to lie in wait for the election, then spring into action and take drastic actions to subvert the will of the people. You have heard how the scheme was hatched in Parliament. At the same time, the mechanism constituted a syndicate to execute a series of strategies consisting of bribery, blackmail, extortion, threats, and intimidation of various public officials of the IEBC, attempt their abduction, torture, and assassination, to storm the National Tallying Center and attempt treasonous insurrection, use of violence to cause the alteration of the vote tallying, as well as entice or bribe or force the IEBC chair to announce their favored candidate, or failing this, eliminate him and replace him with a willing accomplice from among the sleepers. The horrifying drama at Bomas and the emergence of breakaway commissioners answering to external instructions represented a dismayingly low point in our democratic history. A policy to subvert the wishes of the people had even been sanctioned at the highest offices of the state. The sovereignty of the people was in jeopardy. Our fundamental constitutional attribute as a free, open, democratic society based on constitutionalism and the rule of law was under severe test. Chapter 7 of the Constitution on the representation of the people was subjected to the most shameful, egregious assault. As a result, the nation's legitimate mechanism for constituting parliament and the executive was under serious threat of chaos and paralysis. This is the magnitude of the atrocity which shamefully desperate criminal spectacle of the Bomas of Kenya represents. The unfortunate events of 2007-2008 are fresh in our minds. By the time we hauled ourselves out of the abyss that was the 2007 post-election crisis, we had lost thousands of lives, millions of livelihoods. We had lost confidence in our institutions. We had lost a lot of hope, and we had lost political sense. The 2022 assault was intended to go much further and subject this country to a much more insurmountable existential predicament. In the midst of this menacing storm of violent criminality, unrelenting corruption, and reckless determination to subvert the Constitution, dismantle institutions, and take our nation apart, a ray of courage and integrity was shown on us by God's grace. The leadership of the IEBC, comprising a minority of the commissioners, the Secretariat, and the staff of the Commission, rallied together and resolved to vindicate the democratic will of the people of Kenya. At great personal cost to themselves, they worked under extremely harrowing conditions to deliver an election which met the constitutional standard and announced results that were beyond reproach. Regrettably, IEBC officers were murdered in the course of duty by actors interested in compromising the elections. Many more were subjected to serious threats, coercion, intimidation, and all forms of pressure by emboldened agents of impunity. We now know that Chairman Wafula Chebukati, who is in this audience, and Commissioners Abdi Yakub Gulie and Boya Molu, as well as the CEO, Hussein Marjan, and their staff, were offered stupendous financial rewards to cooperate with the agents of impunity, but they bravely resisted. I think these good people deserve a clap, a much. We also know that they were subsequently threatened with dire consequences for them and their families if they did not do the system's bidding and overturn the choice of Kenyans. Again, we know that they stood strong and firmly said no. Can we clap for these people? Chairman, stand up, and your two commissioners and the Marjan, please let us clap for those great people. You may take your seats. We also know that there was a direct attempt to abduct Wafula Chebukati and murder him so that the commission would be paralyzed, or a compliant commissioner take over and subvert the people's sovereignty. It was a hard, cold, and lonely time. The threats were dire. The promised rewards very lavish, and the pressure relentless. It matters always that a public officer endeavors to do the right thing. It matters even more that a state officer did not once hesitate, even for the briefest moment, to stand his ground and do the right thing under the circumstances surrounding the announcement of the final presidential results in Bomas. We salute with great admiration the steadfast and the steadfastness, integrity, and leadership through example that Wafula Chebukati provided at the IEBC. It is this uncompromising commitment to his constitutional responsibility that enabled Chebukati lead IEBC in learning effectively from the 2013-2017 elections to deliver an election that met the highest standards, and in fact, that was unstealable. It takes a person who can stare death in the face and nevertheless pursue the right course of action to uphold, protect, and defend our constitutional values and principles, and to enable the legitimacy and to enhance the legitimacy of our institutions, as our brothers in the IEBC did. The IEBC had 3 such people, just 3. Even though they were in the minority, they were enough to do the right thing. How much better our nation would be if all the people serving in our institutions were as committed, as courageous, and as patriotic. In the same vein, the Supreme Court decision to uphold the outcome of the presidential election vindicated Chebukati and his team and the staff. The pen of history will do the rest, for sure. Through Wafula Chebukati, we have seen what integrity looks like at work. We have witnessed him lead an organization in learning from its mistakes and do better each succeeding time. We have seen him refine the art and science of delivering elections that are difficult to overturn. Finally, we have seen him and his team withstand heat and pressure, resist threats and intimidation, reject bribes and enticements in order to stand with the Constitution and with the people of Kenya. How I wish each and every chairman, each and every commissioner, and each and every holder of an independent office can stand in the manner in which Chebukati has led and his team by example. I hope that no other chairman of IEBC or indeed any other institution or commission will have to endure the kind of humiliation, threats, blackmail, bribery, and everything else that Chebukati and his team went through. Chebukati's experience and the fine example, and his fine example brings home in graphic detail the implicit admonition of the Constitution. Commissions and independent officers are the auditors of auditors. They watch over watchmen. The attainment of the promise of this constitutional dispensation depends on their integrity and vigilance. If commissions and independent officers or their leadership or membership go rogue, the people will be on their own as things fall apart. If, on the other hand, commissions and independent officers are steadfast in advancing their constitutional mandate, as the Chebukati team have demonstrated to us, Kenya's institutions will receive the necessary impetus towards realizing the people's aspirations by protecting rights, enhancing freedoms, deepening democracy, and unlocking the huge potential that our country is. As a matter of fact, this is my principal motivation for initiating this engagement between the executive and the commissions and independent institutions. I believe in teamwork. We are all on the same side, even if we play different parts. If every institution rises to their highest potential and operates effectively, there will be opportunity for coordination, collaboration, cooperation, and complementarity, as well as a healthy competition for the benefit of the people of Kenya. And I dare say the same of Bishop Emeritus Eliud Wabukala. Your service at EACC, the stability you have brought, the focus you have instilled, and your team stands out. You leave EACC with your head high up. And again, congratulations. Congratulations, my sister, Dr. Jane Kiringai. You have worked with me. I know your passion and commitment. I remember the incident when I told you, please, when it's time to leave, don't hesitate. And I was saying it in the context of those of us who are politicians, because I was explaining to her how many politicians, they never know when to leave until the people throw them out. So, but I agree with you. Maybe it's time to change stations, not. And the things you have so passionately articulated about our cities and towns, I agree with you. It is on my radar to do. Our housing plan is targeting our cities and towns so that we can eliminate informal settlements and the people who live in squalor. Our plan on solid waste to energy, both in Nairobi and all the other towns, is part of the plan around our cities. Our plan on greening cities and making sure that they are clean, including the commission we have set up on Nairobi rivers, is part of the plan of us sorting out our cities. So we are properly aligned and we share in that vision. And I agree with you. I've had consultations again with all our county governments that their true independence and their true service will be realized the day they realize that they are a government, and a government is run by resources that you raise. You don't wait for resources from another place. And so I'm very happy that we share, having been in that space for a while, and my good deputy will pick up from where we left, and the team that will be coming in IBEC to push it to the next level. I have already given my handing over notes to my deputy on matters to do with IBEC. He knows where we left. So, so again, congratulations to you, and my very best wishes in your next station. Finally, the purpose of this gathering, therefore, is to kickstart sustained deliberation and productive engagement on the most appropriate ways and means of accelerating the full actualization of our constitutional dispensation. We are mandated to reason together from time to time and to collaborate in forging the best way forward for protecting and enhancing democracy, the rule of law, transparency, accountability, and all areas of human rights and culture. There is a role for each one of us, and therefore we must play that role to ensure that more than a decade after its promulgation, we can facilitate the Constitution to unfold its wings so that Wanjiku can finally behold in its full flight. Congratulations to all of you. I look forward to working with you in the various spaces that we interact. As my deputy has said, we will have continuous engagement with your good selves, not for any other reason, but to facilitate your work as you serve the people of Kenya, because your service is critical to the success of us as a country. And therefore, we are partners, we are collaborators, we will work together in forging the way into the future. I want to say congratulations, Eliud, for a wonderful service to Kenya. Congratulations, Jane, for what you have done. Congratulations, Wafula Chebukati, Molu, and Gulie. Our very best wishes in your new assignment as you take the country forward. Hawa watu si tuwapigie makofi jameni. Asanteni sana. I have hosted lunch for us. And more so to celebrate the outstanding performance of IE.